Hi everybody, this is Diane. I'm about to really get going on these fashion, I guess, vintage women's magazine journals. I did mention one of them in a sneak peek kind of a video, but now I'm going to really get started on them, and I'm going to be doing two of them, and I'll talk about that in a minute. First of all, there was a lot of prep time involved, and I'm still not done with this phase of it, but I had to scan, cut out and arrange, select and arrange and scan all of these magazine images. And there was a video talking about and showing all of these vintage and antique magazine and catalog pages that I had. And I've just been working and working and working on that. So I do have a couple right now. I have a couple digitals in my shop. By the time you see this video, I hope there will be more. But right now I have vintage beauty ads. So these are ads from these vintage and antique magazines that feature beauty products. So here's one of them for hair products, powder, face powder, lavender salts, and hair nets. Skinner's silks, satins, and taffetas for gowns, blouses, petticoats, skirts, and undergarments. That's a really pretty ad. Corset, bracelet. This is something for the teeth. Cleanses, preserves, and beautifies. Silmarine. When waved and beautified the Silmarine way, so it's something to do with your hair. Face powder, powder complexion powder, I guess. There's complexion brush soap. Or perfume. There's some cream, complexion powder again, and corset. Your hair needs danderine. There's a corset. Why do mothers put stiff corsets on their growing children? We beg of you, don't do it. But be sure to buy Ferris's Good Sense corset waists. I love this. It looks Art Deco. Vile Violet, a new Lundberg perfume, and another corset. So there are 5 pages of beauty ads in my shop in a digital, and there are 5 pages of vintage fashion ladies in my shop. Some of them are color, some are black and white. And I wanted to show these to you so I can start cutting them up and using them. And there will be more, but at least I have some that I can use in these journals. I'm working on hats and accessories. I only have 3 pages, but I did some more cutting last night, so I can put together, hopefully, I'll put together 2 more pages and get them in the shop before my journals are done. I love these colored hat images. This one is for hair switches and bangs, and artificial heads of hair. Pretty gloves. More gloves, collars and cuffs, and some more hats. This one is for gloves. So that's only 3 pages, but like I said, I'm working on more. And then I'm working on 5 pages of shoes. Those are kids' shoes up there. And of course there will be more, but that's what I'm working on right now. And some of them are already in the shop. Maybe all of those will be in the shop by the time this video goes up, which is going to be tomorrow, which means I have work to do tonight to get them in there. Now the journals I'm going to be making are they're 2 different types of journals with 2 different digital kits. So the first one I already showed you the pages, and that is from TLC Creates Vintage on Zibbit, and I will try to remember to link it. I forgot to the first time, but someone reminded me, and I did link it. So, and it's called Women's Fashion Magazine. So it's got 6 pages and some cut-aparts and some individual pages that weren't to be folded in half. Where are they? Well, I showed them to you before, and you'll see them again as I go. So I just printed them to be a larger journal card. So I have those, and that is going to be in a long envelope, a 9x11 envelope. This is going to be the cover. And you can see I've got my pages prepped for that, partially prepped anyway. But I have so many fashion images that I wanted to use, so I decided to do a second book, a larger one. And I chose a hardcover book just because it's the right size, but it's this pretty green with a beige linen on the spine, but all of that will be covered. I'm thinking about these napkins because it goes along with the vintage ad vibe. So I'm not exactly sure. Once I get this down, I might add one of my vintage images on top, and then I'll just cover the back. So that's going to be a 3-signature journal. And this kit is by Liana Scrap, who I had never heard of, and I just looked up ladies fashion journal digital kits. And this is the one I found that really goes with my images that I want to put in. It's called Fashion Inspiration by Liana Scrap, and I will link that below. And again, it suits my purposes because it's a small kit. It's only 6 pages. Well, it's more than that. I put some of the pages on the backs. There are 6 pages that have the images of women, but there are some floral pages too. And there are no ephemera pieces with this, which is great because I have so much that I want to put in. I just needed the pages. So these are vintage looking, kind of distressed looking neutral color with black drawings on them, but they have these fashion images. You can see some faint fashion images back there. And there are advertisements too. There's some advertisements. So it was perfect for what I'm doing here. And it runs the gamut of eras of fashion. This one is from the 50s, and there are some much older than that, so it really works with what I'm doing. So what we're going to do today is start working on some ephemera. I thought I would work on some tags, and also, if I have time, a little journal card. So I've done some of the prep work in, I selected some tags, just some manila shipping tags that are almost 2.5 by 5 or 4 3/4, and I traced around them on a piece of coffee dyed tracing paper and cut them out. So that's all ready. Now I just want to glue the tracing paper to the tag. I'm using Craft Bond Extra Strength by Elmer's. Put on lots of glue because it's a crinkly tracing paper that I want to glue down, so I hope this works. I move that off of the gluey part, I can run my brayer over it. Don't want to run my brayer through the glue. And let's do another one while we're at it. I'll probably want 4 tags, possibly 5, but I pulled 6, so I'm going to make 6, but maybe not all in this video. And then if I don't need that many, I can put them in my box of ephemera that I can use in another journal. And what I thought I would do with these is take some of the beauty ads and glue them onto this tag. Someone told me, because I talked about this paper punch that I had, to open that up where it catches your holes. That way I can see the hole. But I still wouldn't recommend this punch to anybody because it worked great and it doesn't hurt my hand. And now I can see my hole that I marked, but I always have to poke the paper out. It doesn't just come out by itself. And at first I thought, well, I'll just punch the next one and it'll force that paper out, but I can't see the hole. I can't see my marked hole. So it's a pain, but it works. And I just bought it. It wasn't that expensive, but I'm going to keep it and use it. I just got it on Amazon. Okay. Now I can get my vintage beauty ad pieces. Where'd they go? They're right here. I want to use this one, I think. Got some tracing paper stuck to my scissor blade. Oh, sorry. That was a sudden one. You've probably heard the saying that March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. Well, that was certainly true. The first part so far was certainly true this year. Today is March 3rd, I believe, but Monday was March 1st, and that lion was roaring up a storm. I was sitting in my house just listening to that wind. It was, I mean, I like windy days, but that was a very incredibly windy day. And I kept hearing something outside. It was, the next day was trash day, so I had to put my garbage can out by the curb, and of course that was laying over on its side, but I wasn't going to pick it up because it would just fall over again. But I kept hearing something out there banging around. And so finally, I went out, and it's like 10:30 at night, and there's this big box that was somebody's foot massager came in. It's an empty box, but it was the kind that you would fill with water and put your feet in. So it was a big box, and it was empty with the lid flapping around, and it was banging up against my car. Just the wind was just throwing it around, banging it up against my car. So I didn't know what to do with it. And the wind is whipping my hair all over the place, and it's dark and cold, and I just put it out at the end of my drive in the road and let the wind take it away. Because if I took it to my neighbor's trash, which is probably where it came from, it would just come back and bang against my car some more. So probably wasn't the right thing to do, but that's what I did to preserve my car. But next week, it's not bad now, but next week it's going to be like in the 50s. Oh, before I glue this down, I think I might want to add some lace. I brought some little pieces over, some narrow pieces. I'm not sure if I'll put it on the whole length of the tag, but I'll cut it that long just in case. Aren't you glad we use tags in our glue books? Because tags are so fun to use, or to make. Think, what am I going to do with this piece of ephemera? I know, I'll make a tag. Well, I guess I decided to glue it the whole length. Didn't even stop to think about it. Yeah, I like it that way anyway. And I have a piece of cream colored seam binding. Just gotta reach my scissors. I think I may have cut it too short. Might want to cut it or tie it in a bow, but I may not have left enough length to tie it in a bow. No. So it won't go in a bow. There we go. There's one tag. It's warm enough. I have to take my sweater off. Now, let's find another one to use. do that one. These are pretty quick and easy to make, aren't they? Nothing hard about them. Like this. Maybe somebody saw these new digitals in my shop. Somebody just bought something. So whoever you are, thank you. If you made a purchase on Wednesday morning at 9:40-ish, thank you. And all of these images I actually cut from a vintage magazine or catalog or antique. Some of them are from the 1800s and some were from 1920, which is probably antique. It's 100 years old, right? So these are actual ads that I have the physical item, and I just scanned them. There we go. Let's add, I'm going to put a colored one in here. Maybe just peach. I'll make this one big enough to try it in a bow. And then I'll show you a journal card I want to make with straw paper and some more of my images. Oh, that looks so cute. I could always take that other piece out of the other tag and put a bigger one in if I decide to. All right, 2 tags done. And I can make more quickly before I start putting my pages together. Okay, the other one I wanted to make today is a journal card. I didn't really do a lot of prep work for this one except just gather some supplies. But I want to make it with straw paper. So I took this scrap that I had and just folded it so that it's the back is longer than the front, wider than the front, so there's a space here. And I just want to add something here and some buttons here, and then you can write on the inside and even on the back, unless it's glued down. It might be glued down to a page, but you could open it up and write on it and maybe tuck something back there. So first I have to choose an image, and then I'll decide if I want to put some decorative paper behind the image. It depends on how big the image is that I use. If I use something black and white, I would definitely put colored paper behind it. Those shoes would be cool. I like the shape of those ads. Where'd those hats go? Look at I was noticing when I was cutting out these images, the delicate fabrics they have around the ladies' necks and faces. That is, I don't know if it's on a blouse or just something that's tucked into the bodice of the dress, but it's so delicate. There's one on that one too. Oops. And these just have large, soft, flouncy collars. Just so delicate and pretty for their pretty ladies. I could put an image like that on a card like this. And I definitely need some paper behind it. I did pull out some digital paper that I already have printed that I thought I could use for backgrounds and things. So one is some papers from TLC, which is the designer that did the first set of digital that I'm using. But I thought these florals, or even this part of the background that isn't really a floral, pretty. That would be a good one, I think. This one isn't TLC. I'm not sure where they came from. And I also have wallpapers that I pulled, digital wallpapers. Most of these are from Lorna at Tailor Made Crafts, or Tailor Made Journals. Some are TLC, I think. Sears, and this one is Amity Bloom. I want something with a small pattern. I think these are the ones that are labeled Sears wallpapers, and I can't remember who they're from. They're the ones I think might be TLC. Oh, that's not wallpaper. Put that somewhere else. Well, to save time, I'm just going to go with this. I can make more after I've had time to peruse my papers better. So this flap is 3 by 4, just a little over 4. So I will cut this not quite 3. By just a smidge shy of 4. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I made it too wide. That's pretty good. And I might make other pieces larger, but this was just a scrap that I had, so this was the size it was. But it works well for that image. I am going to round some corners. That was getting full. Okay. I know this is the dull part. If I could sing you a song, I would. Or even tell you a joke. But I'm not very good at either one. I'm a terrible joke teller. Not as bad as my friend when I was a teen. She tried to tell a joke, a riddle, I guess it was just a riddle, that was supposed to be, why is a frog like a hand grenade? No, yeah, I think that's the way it went. And she said, why is a toad like a torpedo? Which sounds better, right? And I don't know the answer, sorry. All I know is that we just laughed and laughed and laughed at her mess up, which probably wasn't very nice, but she laughed with us. So if anybody knows why a frog's like a hand grenade, you can leave it in the comments. I don't know if we ever got the answer to that. Okay, I'm looking for, oh, my buttons are right here. I think I want to put some ribbon or seam binding or something behind her. not sure. Maybe I'll just put a piece of lace. Doesn't show up very much. Sorry, had a pin in my mouth. I know I shouldn't do that. Maybe I'll add this really thin pink lace. It's very pale. I think that would look nice. They're both pretty unobtrusive laces, so if I just add two of them, it'll be still subtle, but pretty. And I've got some buttons here to think about putting down the side. These aren't vintage. I think these maybe came from Stampin' Up! That I probably got at my friend's yard sale. But everything else in this bag is vintage. This one has a little design around the edge. That's pretty. This one has a different design. Very pretty. This one is the Stampin' Up! One, or one of them. This one already has some thread in it, but it also has a little bit of fabric, so it makes it too thick in the back. So I'll have to put other thread in there. Alright, so I'm going to put thread in those buttons, and I won't make you watch me do that, but then they will be glued down the side. Let's do the fabric first. Oh wait, I was right. Don't be goofy like me. Got a nice big glob of glue there. Could put a little button right there if I wanted to. That would be pretty. This one has a shank I would have to cut off, but that's really pretty. Is it too much to have 5 buttons down the side and 1 there? Or, let me look for something else. Isn't this a cute little box? It has my appliques in it. I could just put a little applique there. I love that. Let's do that. All right, so this card I think is basically done except for putting thread in the buttons and then gluing them down the side. And I probably will, well, it depends on how many other pockets and things I have. I could just tuck it into a pocket and it could be used as a journal card, or I can glue it down and it becomes a pocket, and you can open it up and write. It's really cute. Another thing I'm going to do, but not in this video because I'm running out of time, is I've taken a couple of my shoe images. These are from the actual magazines, not from a digital. And I've glued them to some cardstock. And I'll just do as much as I can. These don't take too long, so maybe I will be able to finish one. I'm holding it up to my face so I can cut on the line better. The part that's not black. Just make sure I was cutting in the right place. I did get new glasses, but I did not get new eyes. Okay. Then trace around this. This I just drew right on the shoe. This cardstock was obviously used. I printed somebody's receipt on cardstock instead of paper. But I'm getting use out of it. I'll cut inside that pencil line so it doesn't show. Okay. Now I will take a paper clip If I had a smaller one, that might be better. So I'll put the shorter loop. Put the shorter loop on the part of the shoe that will be on the inside that you won't see, and the larger loop on the outside that will clip onto a page, and then glue them together. And we have a fun paper clip. There. And I managed to do it before the camera shut off. So that's 3 embellishments we did today. We did this one, and it will have buttons here. And we did these 2 tags. Pretty simple. All of these are pretty simple. And 1 paper clip. So that means I have to make more of each of those, so I can use them in these 2 journals that I'm making. And I will have more elements to create also. But I want to keep it pretty simple, as I usually do. My embellishments are not very elaborate, but I want these beautiful images to shine. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you like these little projects and that you will try some with whatever theme you're working with. It doesn't have to be fashion. And I hope that you will come over to my shop and check out my new digitals. And I hope that you will return to this channel to see more of what's happening with this journal that I'm making. Thanks for watching. Have a creative day today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.